The first type of clause is constituted with a subject, a transitive verb, the indirect object to get the definition of the transitive verb through the direct object, and finish the subject-object relationship. The subject, direct object, indirect object relationship, and the direct object to get the definition of the transitive verb at first. In the first type of clause, there are two objects. This means that the speaker expands the range of statement from an object to the two objects so we can study from the example. The principal awards the boy the certificate for verifying his stamina. In this clause, the transitive verb awards is applied, and the subject, the principal, starts and gives the definition of the transitive verb award to the direct object, the certificate for verifying his stamina, which are the direct object. Secondly, the subject gives the definition of the transitive verb award and the direct object to the indirect object, the boy. The speaker reveals the procedure that the subject, the principal, conveys the action indicated by the transitive verb award to the direct object, the certificate. The speaker reveals the next procedure following the previous procedure. The next procedure of conveyance is that the subject, the principal, conveys the direct object, the certificate, through the action indicated by the transitive verb award to the indirect object, the boy. The speaker signifies that the action indicated by the transitive verb award is conveyed from the subject to the indirect object via the direct object in the subject, direct object, indirect object relationship. So this clause is stated in the first type of clause. In this conference, we can understand that the same transitive verb awards can be applied in the clause stated in the third type of clause. This means that the speaker can state a clause with the same verb, with the same transitive verb in the various range of statement. The speaker can state a clause about the subject and the direct object. The speaker can expand the range of statement from the subject, the direct object, to the indirect object. This clause is stated in the third type of clause because the speaker focuses on the initial part of the interaction in the subject, direct object, and the indirect object. The speaker focuses on the subject and the direct object. We can say that the range of the statement got narrower. The speaker is able to state a clause to focus on the relationship between the subject and the direct object, which is a part of the entire relationship among the subject, direct object, and the indirect object, the boy. The boy became the object of the preposition to. This means that the phrase of the preposition that has the trait as an adverb is not considered as a constituent of the clause. So this clause is classified as the third type of clause. The speaker signifies the relationship between the indirect object, the boy, and the direct object as the subject-object relationship mediated by the preposition to. The speaker intends to state the subject and the direct object relationship in the simple way. So this clause is stated in the third type of clause. There is the second clause. The certificates for verifying his stamina are awarded from the principal to the boy. This clause is stated in the second type of clause because the past participle awarded describes the subject as with a role as a subjective complement. We can also understand that this clause is stated from the perspective of the direct object. The direct object, the certificate, received the definition of the transitive verb award from the subject, the principal. So, in the midst of the subject and the indirect object. So, the relationship between the subject is stated with the preposition from the principal, and the direct object and the definition of the transitive verb award are delivered to the indirect object as the final destination. So the preposition to is applied. We can understand the direct objects are in the midst of the subject and the indirect object. In the first type of clause, this one. The speaker in the passive voice states the clause to set the direct object, the certificate, as the subject. The speaker describes the existence of the subject, the certificate, with the be verb are. Thank you for watching. We will continue to study about this in the next time. Thank you.